Hi, third graders. It's good to see you coming to check your DMA. Nice job. Let's take a look at our DMA for week 25, day 3. So day 3 right here. Our first problem is a word problem. So remember, on the back, I want you to show your work by drawing me a model. Make sure you have an equation, and also please make sure you write a response to answer the question. So let's take a look at our word problem. Valerie has 59 scarves in her closet. In all, 14 of the scarves are red, 29 of the scarves are striped, and the remaining means left over, right? And the remaining scarves are white. How many of Valerie's scarves are white? So let's take a look at the information that we have in this word problem. The first piece of information we know is that Valerie has 59 scarves in her closet. Now, this tells me my total number of scarves. My next sentence tells me in all, 14 of the scarves are red. So, 14 scarves are red. And also I know that 29 of the scarves are striped. 29 scarves are striped. Now, it's telling me my remaining scarves are white. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know how many scarves are white. That's what I'm trying to find out. But when I do find out, they should add up to the total of 59 scarves. Now, what this tells me is how many of Valerie's scarves are white. So I'm missing part of this total here. I know 14 of my scarves are red. I know 29 of the scarves are striped. I, however, do not know how many of them are white. So of those 59 scarves, 14 are red, 29 are striped, and I don't know how many are white. And that's what I'm trying to find out. So I'm going to turn to the back here, and I'm going to set up my problem using a bar diagram. And remember, each bar is representing a piece of information from our word problem. So the first thing I know is that I have a total of 59 scarves. So my total is going to go here at the top, since that is my total. I know how many scarves I have. Now, again, one of those bars is a part of the total. Again, 14 of them are red. 29 of them are striped. And we don't know how many are white. So this is a part, this is a part, and this is a part. But we're missing a part. And what that tells us is if we're missing a part, we're going to subtract. So I'm going to set up my subtraction equation. I'm going to start with the total, which is 59. And from those 59, I'm going to subtract 14, because these are going to be the red ones. And if I take away the striped ones, that should leave me, and probably should have used, that should leave me with the ones that are white. Now, remember, when you're subtracting, you're starting with the total and subtracting the parts to find the missing part. Okay, I want to find what this missing part is. So when I add these together, I should get 59 as my total here. All right, so what I'm going to do is, you can do this one of two ways. You can either add these together and then subtract, or you can subtract them one part at a time. So I'm going to subtract them one part at a time. And I'm going to start with the 59 and subtract 14 red. Now, do I have to subtract the 14? No, I could have also subtracted the 29. Just as long as I subtract both of these at some point. And actually, 29 might be an easier number to subtract because there's a difference of 30 here. Now, how do I know that? Because 50 minus 20 is 30, and 9 minus 9 is 0. So again, if you need to, you can put these in as an algorithm. Of course, 9 minus 9 is 0, and 50 minus 20 is 30, and so I get left with 30. Now, that's 30 after I subtract the striped. Now I need to subtract the red from the 30, and 30 minus 10, and I'm going to just put that over here, 30 minus 14. Well, in my head, I can subtract 30 minus 10. So 30 minus 10 is 20, right? And then if I subtract 4 more from that 20, that's going to leave me with 16. Now, same thing here. I regroup and I borrow a 10 and regroup it here as 10 ones. And 10 minus 4 is 6, and 20 minus 10 is 10. So again, I still came up with the same difference, just did it a different way. So let's show that there are going to be 16 white scarves when I take out the 14 red from here and the 29 striped from there as well. Now, how can I check my work? Well, remember, addition is the opposite of subtraction. So if I take these 16 white, and I'm going to put a W for white, and I take the 29 that are striped, and I'm going to put an S for striped, and I also put 14 red, then these should add up to 59. Well, I'm going to check my work. So 10 and 20 is 30, and 30 plus 10 more is 40. Now, if I look at my ones, here's 6 and here's 4. 6 and 4 is another 10, and then I have this 9. So 40 and 10 is 50, plus 9 is equal to 59. So we did our subtraction correctly, and we checked it using addition to make sure that it added back up to the total. Again, these are all the scarves that she has in her closet, all of them. So now we can say, we can write our response, and I do not remember her name. Valerie has 16 scarves that are white. And that's because we subtracted the parts, right, from the total. We subtracted 29 from 59 to get 30. Then we subtracted, oops, running out of room here. Then we subtract 14 from 30 to get 16 left that are white. So this is kind of a two-step problem. Now, another way that you could think about it is take and this is what I mentioned earlier, take these two parts, put them together, then subtract. So what would that look like? So if I were to take the 29 and the 14, if I were to take the 29 and the 14 and add them together, 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Carry that 10 to the tens place. 20 and 10 makes 30, and 30 and 10 makes 40. So 43 of the scarves are red and striped. Red and striped. Again, we don't know how many are white, but we can figure that out by subtracting the 59 from, or the 43 from the 59. So again, 9 minus 3 is 6, 50 minus 40 is 10, and that's going to leave us with how many of the scarves are white. So again, it doesn't matter if you add the two parts and then subtract from the total, but as long as you are subtracting both of the parts from the total, which is 59. So just a couple of different ways that you can look at it. Let's go back to the front and looking at the second problem. Are these two fractions equivalent? So if you look at the first square, each one of these is 1/4 of my square. This one piece is shaded, so that tells me I have 1/4 of my square. Now, even though this is partitioned into different shapes of pieces, these are squares and this is a triangle, still 1/4 of that square is going to be shaded. So is this equivalent? Yes, they are equivalent to each other. Now some of you may say, well, it doesn't look like the same shaded part, but it is the same shaded part. We've just partitioned it into different shaped pieces, but they're still 1/4, and they are equivalent to each other if each one of these is the same amount of that square. So 1/4 and 1/4 are equivalent to each other, so yes, these are equivalent. The next problem is a measuring problem, and I'm just going to zoom in here. I want you to be able to see what we are doing. So again, a ruler has whole numbers on it, okay? And in between the whole numbers are fractions, which is what we've been talking about. Now that we've been talking about equivalent fractions, we know that fractions are in between our whole numbers. Now, when we go to write a measurement down, we look at the whole numbers and then we look at the fraction. So this is butterfly wings. This butterfly's wings are measured across 3 inches. So at least 3 inches. And then just a little bit more. Now, some people might say, okay, well, that looks like 3 1/4, 3 1/8. It's pretty close, right? So I'm saying I would accept 3 1/8 or 3 1/4. Now, how do I know that that's 1/4? Well, remember, right in the middle is going to be half. So this line right here is right in the middle. And since it's right in the middle, I know that that's going to be half. And then if I partition each one of my halves in half, this is 1/4, and this is 3/4. And remember, 1/2 is also 2/4. So we are going to say that the width of that butterfly's wings is 3 1/8 or 3 1/4. Just depends on how close you want to get to the measurement. But it's kind of hard if you need to kind of zoom in on it to help you. So I would accept any of those answers for that one, or either of those. Now let's take a look at the next problem. Round each number to the nearest 100. Nearest 100. Again, if you need to, you can always take out your multiples of 10 chart to help you with rounding to the closest 100. Remember that if you're rounding to the nearest 10, you can use your tens. Remember, 100 and 200 are going to be tens as well, because what happens when you make 10 tens? 10 tens is equal to 100. So we're going to round to the closest 10. The first number we're rounding is 780. Subtracting 780 minus 644. 780 is right here. It actually is already rounded to the nearest 10, since it is a 10, but it doesn't tell us to round to the nearest 10. It tells us to round to the nearest 100. So look at where it is. It's between 800 and 700. It's between the 700, which is already here in the hundreds place, and the next 100 is 800. Remember, 50 is right in the middle, so when we pass 50 between our hundreds, we're going to round up, and that's going to round up to 800. So 780 rounds to 800. So I'm going to write that down right here. Now I'm going to round 644. 644 is going to be between 640 and 650, right in here somewhere. Again, we're not rounding to the nearest 10, we're rounding to the nearest 100. So rounding to the nearest 100, looking at 644 is less than 650. It's right here, right? So if it's here, we're going to round 644 to 600 is our nearest 100. And when I subtract those, I am going to get a difference of 200. Miss Badger wants to bye. She wants to be part of our math lesson. Isn't that wonderful? She enjoys math so much. She wants to be part of our math lesson. All right. So here's your challenge. Maybe not a challenge, but here's your discussion question for today. Your discussion question is, now I want you to, and I kind of already helped you with this, I want you to round 780 and 644 to the nearest 10 and then subtract. Okay? So that's your challenge for today. I want you to round 780 and 644 to the nearest 10. Oh, I just did it for you. Are you kidding me? All right, well, I already did it. So you guys just have to figure it out. You'll need a boo-boo. Okay, so I'll check those later on in the afternoon, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a great Wednesday, and don't forget to do your happy numbers for 20 minutes and your fact fluency for 5. Have a great day, guys.